All right, I'm back after about a month layoff. Shoot, maybe a little bit more than that. Just been so busy trying to move into a house and going on vacation. And I was busy going on vacation. That sounds like a tool right there. But just been busy and moving to a house, starting school, all this other stuff. But work. But for now, the Max Hawkins show is back, and it will be back for the foreseeable future, hopefully every week. And this week, my buddy, Cody Butler back. Cody, we're here to talk about, it was a crazy weekend. We're here to talk about UFC, SummerSlam, and everything in between, man. It was wild. It was just a wild weekend.
A lot of action last weekend.
First of all, let's start up though. One of the reasons why I hadn't been doing the podcast or for the past week or so is Louisiana's been dealing with some serious flooding, man. I know this is kind of a little bit late, but just man, it was so bad, and thank God. I count my blessings every day that my family nor I did we really experience any flooding. Cody, how about you?
I had a niece, lost everything in Central. That's all I really know. A couple cousins in Denham Springs, lost everything.
Man, Denham Springs, Livingston Parish got hit really bad. Central, Zachary,
Ascension
Parish, parts of Baton Rouge, Lafayette got hit harder than what people think. My cousin actually, he got a little bit of water into his house in Lafayette, but I fully expect that we'll fight back from this.
Absolutely.
This state. I mean, it's a great state, and just sad situation. Talking about Central, I rode with my roommate. We went and helped move his aunt some of her stuff out of her house. She got a good bit of water in there, and it was just lost a lot of stuff. But people will bounce back, and that's what people from Louisiana do. But let's get on with it. Well, quick note: LSU football starts up in about a week. Playing Wisconsin. Cody, give a quick prediction for that game right there.
I think Fournette's going to run wild.
I do too. One storyline to watch is definitely Dave Aranda, new LSU defensive coordinator. He was DC at Wisconsin, so it's going to be curious. I think he's going to maybe be an innovator with some of his 3-4 screen schemes and stuff like that he's doing. So
and he's got all the tools to do it with too.
He's definitely got all the tools to do it with, and
lost a lineman, but I mean
LSU's defense kind of took a step back last year with Kevin Steele. I'm not saying he's a bad coach. LSU's defense wasn't horrible or anything, but it just wasn't LSU defense like it was. So
you didn't have defensive backs running around making plays everywhere.
No,
weren't really aggressive.
I'm telling you what, man, one DB to watch out for, and then they call LSU DBU. One DB to watch out for, Jamal Adams, I think this year.
Yeah.
We actually talked to Marcus Spears last semester in one of my classes, and he said like that guy has a potential to have a season like Patrick Peterson's had in past years, or dare I say, Tyrann Mathieu. So there's that. It's going to be exciting. Football season coming up, but UFC 202 was this weekend. But I want to take us back to July 9th, I think it was, UFC 200. Quick, what did you think about that whole card, man? Just give us a quick breakdown about it.
I don't think it was a letdown like everybody was saying. A lot of people were disappointed with it. I thought it was great. I didn't think that the women should have been the main event when you have people like Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt fighting and Daniel Cormier and Anderson Silva.
Right, I agree.
But their fight was for a title, so
respect the title. That was a hard thing to argue, man. Let's just go through the main card real quick. Cain Velasquez destroyed Travis Brown with all due respect, and we both kind of said we knew that was going to come.
Yeah.
Man, I was really expecting more from Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar.
I was too.
But I guess Aldo is just that type of fighter, man. He's not going to take chances, and he's going to pick you apart.
It pretty much mirrored the last fight.
Exactly. And I think he's really backed himself into a corner, though, Jose Aldo has, because, and we're going to talk about Conor McGregor soon, but I don't think he can fight a guy like Conor McGregor the way he fought Frankie Edgar. Nor do I think Conor McGregor is really ecstatic about having that fight again, and nor do I think a lot of people are really happy to see that fight again after Jose's performance. What do you think?
I think anybody can get hit on the button and get knocked out. I do not think it's going to be the same fight if they fight again. I think it's going to be way more competitive than what it showed last time. He got Jose out of his element.
He messed with it. He messed with his head.
He got him to come in there aggressive. opened himself up, and he tagged him.
Yeah.
Simple as that. He did exactly what he wanted to do.
Man, I was really expecting more. And you know, we watched the fight. And from what I remember, I haven't watched it again, but Frankie was trying. But he just, I don't know if Jose is just too technical for Frankie or what was really the deal. But he looked really disappointed in his performance and stuff like that. And you know, I don't know. It was just kind of a hard fight to watch for 5 rounds, and it was really, I don't want to say boring, but wasn't what I was expecting from those two.
That's what Jose Aldo does.
That was the point I was trying to make a little while ago.
That is his typical fight. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He stands there and he picks you apart and he kicks your legs so you can't walk. And
Mayweather-esque.
Yeah. Except he's hitting you.
Yeah.
And you can't take him down.
You're right. He
has some of the best takedown defense there is.
The guy's fast as hell, bro.
He is. And it's just Conor McGregor got into his head and took him out of his zone. Like I said, and it's just, it won't be the same fight, I don't think.
It'll be interesting to see if it happens. I honestly don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll get to that. So real quick, man, Daniel Cormier and Anderson Silva. By now, everyone knows what all happened with the John Jones and DC thing. Now it was a backup fight. One thing I didn't really like though, man, the fans were just booed DC bad. Like I don't think he's the bad guy in this. I mean, fans pay for their ticket and they have a right to do whatever they want, cheer, whatever, but. I didn't see why they were booing the guy, to be honest with you. Well,
it's kind of like he just took him down and held him and kind of hit on him a little bit like he was taking it easy on him.
Right, and I think that was because he respected Anderson so much and he didn't want to just go out there and I don't know if he could have. He didn't just want to go out there and maul the guy. He respected him for stepping in and fighting, and they gave each other a hug and stuff after that. So
well, he said at the press conference, so I'm not going to stand up with the best striker in the history of the UFC and let him have a chance of hitting me, and then it's not even for a title.
Right.
I have everything to lose in this situation. If I lose to him, how am I even relevant?
Yeah, Anderson had nothing to lose.
No.
Man. He's towards the end of his career. DC has a title, man. I mean, it wasn't a title fight, but
no. He just wanted to help out, and he did.
Real quick, will we see that fight again, John Jones and DC?
I think so.
There's rumors going around that John Jones might not be suspended for as long as people might think.
I heard Dana wants him to fight Rumble.
Wants John to fight one?
For the #1 contender spot.
That'd be a hell of a fight.
I think Rumble knocks his head off his shoulders.
We're going to talk about Rumble in a little while, but real quick, Lesnar Hunt. I heard somebody, I'm not going to say who, somebody said that it was a boring fight. Man, that was the most exciting fight on the card for me. Besides the Kane and Travis, but like, man, just seeing Brock get back in there and do his thing. And, you know, he obviously got popped a week or two later, but what do you think about that?
I enjoyed that fight.
So did I. Everybody, we watched that at the back porch of my house. Everybody was up, oh yeah, Brock. And all due respect to Hunt too, I respect him, the greatest fighter, but it was just Brock Lesnar was back, and that was the main event.
To me. And after he got popped, Mark Hunt's talking about he's on steroids, and he's still talking about it right now. If he wasn't on steroids, he still would have done the same thing. That guy is just an animal.
You know, man, all right, again, we're going to talk. Well, you said Lesnar the other day. You were texting McAvoy. You said Lesnar. You think he could beat anyone in a non-sanctioned street fight on this planet.
No doubt in my mind.
I think it would be hard pressed to find a guy that would beat him in a non-sanctioned anything goes, just all-out street fight. I mean, on this planet. There's somebody that can beat everybody, but we haven't found him yet, I don't think.
Besides the fact that he's big as a bear, he thinks he can beat up everybody on the planet.
Right. Only person I don't think he could take is Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
I'm feeling the beers he drinks.
Yeah. Man, that was. I wish we could have seen that one day. But okay, so steroid thing or whatever it was, it was an estrogen blocker.
Yeah.
The way I heard Chael Sonnen explain it is that if you're on an estrogen blocker, you're either on. I mean, just because you're on it does not mean you're on steroids. But if you're on steroids, you have to take an estrogen blocker.
Correct.
To come back now.
It's what they take after they finish the cycle.
And from what someone explained to me, it helps from keep getting bitch tits, as I was heard.
Man boobs.
Yeah, man boobs.
Yeah.
Bitch tits, whatever. But Okay, so I'm kind of the feeling about, bro. A lot of people are on that shit. I mean, it kind of is what it is. I don't think it's necessarily right, but it is what it is. There's really nothing to bitch about. Mark Hunt didn't do anything to Lesnar, so, and it wasn't just because he was on whatever he was on.
If he would have won, he wouldn't have said a word about it. He might have said, "You on steroids, I still beat you," and that's all he would have said.
Right.
Now, the other day I read something. He's still talking about it. 2 days ago, and that's
well, and Lesnar's probably not coming back. It is what it is. There's really no sense in talking about it anymore. You talk about all you want, but like he's not coming back on anything. So it is what it is. Misha and Amanda Nunes, I was really surprised at this, but I thought that I heard somebody bring up a good point that division is so flaky right now that anybody can beat anybody since Ronda's lost, and it's just kind of how that division is. Your thoughts?
It's kind of like the top 5. You can put them in against each other. This was a bad matchup.
Cannibalize each other. Huh?
Yeah. I did not expect that. I thought Miss Tate was at the prime of her career.
So did
She's
I.
gonna hold the belt for a while.
And since Holly Holm knocked out Ronda Rousey and shocked the world, she's lost twice. Lost her last 2 fights.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you. And she's, I would argue, a superstar now. Like
She got dominated on the feet.
Yeah.
The last fight.
Is Ronda coming back?
Not in November.
I know not in November. They told that recently in MSG. Is she coming back at all, you think?
I don't know who you put her against. Who can you put her against that she hadn't beat except for Cyborg? And you put her against Cyborg, you might as well just go ahead and end her career.
She can retire now and call it a great career, and she doesn't owe anybody anything.
No.
I think that's right. It all depends on if she wants to come back and wants to gain her championship back. I think you put her against whoever's the title for her. She's earned that. But I honestly don't know if it's going to happen at this point. She says she wants to have Travis Brown's babies.
Yeah.
So
Lucky guy.
All right, man. So moving on, UFC 202. Where would you grade it overall against UFC 200? Think it was a better card overall?
I did.
Yeah.
I thought I had more exciting fights.
I agree too. And obviously the main event sold. We don't have any pay-per-views yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it outsells UFC 200 when the pay-per-view buy rate comes in. Man, I was coming back from Shreveport that night. I didn't get home until 8:30, so I didn't watch the prelims on Fox Fight Pass or anything. Anything you want to say about any of those guys real quick?
They had a couple good fights on there. The guy on Connor's team, our team, Lowball, he looked real good coming out of the Ultimate Fighter.
What weight class is he?
I believe he's 145 as well.
Okay.
He just doesn't look like he won the other night, but he looked great coming out of Ultimate Fighter, like he was gonna jump up there. I think he's 2-2 in the UFC.
Really? Huh.
I was expecting a lot more from him. The women, I can't remember what their names were. They put on the best fight on the prelims.
Really?
Yeah.
One thing I noticed about the main card was every fight, besides Rumble and Glover Texeira, was how do you say it, Texeira? Every fight was a welterweight fight, 170.
Yeah.
It was just a welterweight card, man. I mean, that division is deep. That division is really deep. And with Robbie Lawler losing the title recently in a shocker. Real quick, you know a lot about Robbie Lawler. What happens with him?
Been watching a long time.
He's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
He's getting that title back.
I think Wonder Boy is going to beat Tyron Woodley and hold the belt for a while.
We talked about Wonder Boy last time.
The way he dominated Roy McDonald.
Who's now going to Bellator.
Yeah. Smart move.
All right, so first fight, Tim Means defeated Sabah Humase, I think is his name. Round 2 TKO punches. Real quick, give us your story on Tim Means.
Tim Means is a tall welterweight. Nicknamed the Dirty Bird. He's got real good Muay Thai and loves to use that clinch. He's tough, but when he gets in there against a grinder, likes to take him down, doesn't fare too well.
Okay, so
he got some work to do, but he could be good.
Okay, sweet.
He's a young guy.
Next fight, Mike Perry TKO. I'm gonna butcher this name. Hyun Yu Lim. I think is how you pronounce that. This was kind of a brutal fight for this guy. He really just beat this guy down. And real quick, any thoughts on Mike Perry? How he dominated this guy?
He looked good.
He did look good.
Not him knocked out on his feet.
That was the
falling all over the cage,
bro. And this I'm just gonna say Asian guy. I don't know what country he's from. But this
Korea,
guy was Korea. This guy is a big guy. He was tall as all hell.
Yeah.
So that just kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. This kind of division is deep right now. Real damn deep. All right, this is where I kind of come in a little bit more. I know these fighters more. Donald Cerrone TKO'd Rick Story and really dominated the fight. Bro, it was just a great combo he put up at the end of TKO this guy. I really haven't seen many combos better than that he did, man. Real quick, Cerrone, he wins. He seems like when he gets close, he kind of takes a step back, but where's he going now?
They want him to stay at welterweight. They're saying the weight cut to 55 is too strenuous on his body.
He's a big muscle up guy too.
Yeah, they're saying welterweight, pretty much just hang like he is. He weighs around 170 already.
You don't have to cut weight.
Doesn't have to cut weight, and he's looking fantastic in the last couple fights he had. Nobody's knocked out Patrick Cote. He knocked him out.
Right.
Not Anderson Silva. Not much of them that Patrick Cote fought.
I think he should probably stay at welterweight, especially considering how, and maybe he's just I don't know who. Javier Dos Anjos just really made him look stupid.
Yeah, he did.
And but after his fight, or when Joe Rogan was interviewing him, he said he called out lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez, who beat Dos Anjos, and said, "Let's do it at MSG in Madison Square Garden in November." Think it's gonna happen, or?
No, I think Conor gets Alvarez next.
Think Conor gets Alvarez?
Bad as I hate it, I think he does.
Well, where's Javier Dos Anjos in all this?
I think he has to regroup. I'd say he has to win at least one or two more fights to get back in there.
Just because he wasn't selling pay-per-views, or?
Not just that. I mean, he got knocked out on his feet.
That was
first round.
I watched that, man. That was like he didn't want to go down. He didn't want to go down, and he didn't give up. But Eddie Alvarez, man, he just.
I think you make Khabib Nurmagomedov and Dos Anjos for the #1 contender.
Okay.
They fought already. Khabib beat him.
If, of course, McGregor's not getting it, which Dana White has already said he's having the option.
That's what I'm saying for the #1 contender.
Okay.
Khabib.
After the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Khabib is, man, that guy is something special. But he only fights half the year. He's Muslim and does Ramadan. So he can't train during Ramadan because he can't eat.
Huh. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So.
He got the record for takedown in the UFC fight. I want to say it was against Dos Anjos.
Really?
Yeah. I might be wrong. That might be somebody else. I think it was like a 12 takedowns in a fight. 3-round fight.
Huh. Anyway, man, so Conor McGregor, if he doesn't fight Eddie Alvarez next, if he decides to go back down and defend his belt, does Donald Cerrone get him at 155 just since he called him out, or what? How would you book it if McGregor decided not to fight Alvarez?
I'd put Khabib in there.
Okay.
Nurmagomedov.
Well, you can only fight certain parts of the year.
Yeah.
So.
But you got to look at the featherweight division. Conor hadn't defended that belt one time yet.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Dan gave him the ultimatum.
It really chaps my ass.
Well, Joe Rogan said it best. He's holding that division up. He either has to go back down and defend his belt, or he forfeits it, or do whatever. So Anthony Johnson KO'd Glover Texeira. Man, first of all, this knockout, and I think it was like 9 seconds or something like that. 13. Same as McGregor and Joe said. Right, this dude, all due respect to Glover, this dude knocked the hell out of Glover, and I never really thought that Anthony Johnson was going to have a problem with Glover Texeira.
I did.
You did?
I did.
Why?
Glover Texeira fights a lot like Daniel Cormier. Put you up against the cage, grind you down, takes you down, either submit you or beat you up. That's the way he fights. He's tough. Real tough.
Yeah, no, not taking anything away from him. I've heard his name a lot. I've seen him fight a couple times.
He's
a tough guy.
John Jones, he took John Jones the distance.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's not easy to finish.
Bruh, Anthony Johnson is a scary-ass dude.
Yeah.
He is a scary-ass dude, and when he KO'd the guy, and Glover didn't know where he was at. He woke back up and he like tried to grab the ref, thinking he was still in a fight or something like that. When he hit him, they replayed it in slow motion, and something came out of Glover's mouth. I thought it was a mouthpiece at first. Then I kind of thought it was spit. Somebody said it might have been a tooth. I heard there was a report recently from Ariel Helwani, who's the lead reporter for MMA, really. He said it wasn't a tooth, but they don't really know what it was. Could have been like, what the hell was that came out of his mouth? It was just spit, you think?
All the shows I listened to on Sirius, it was a tooth.
It was a tooth?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they didn't interview him after because he was so out of it, so you couldn't tell. You know? But we got a situation, we talked about this a second ago. Johnson kind of called out, not really called out, but DC was in this was a number one contender fight, essentially. DC, Daniel Cormier, was in the stands, and he said, did he say he'll fight Johnson again?
Yeah, he wants to fight Johnson.
He wants to fight Rumble again.
Which you can't blame him. No. Why would you get yourself up again for a fight against John Jones and have a chance of him having to pull out again?
Right.
Why would you do that?
That hurt Daniel a lot.
Yeah, it did. He almost lost a whole payday, his whole training camp, everything he put in.
He definitely lost out on some money. He wasn't the main event anymore.
No, he lost money, but he ended up making some.
He ended up making some. And again, that's why I think he didn't go out there and want to fight Anderson Silva, really. You know, he wanted to make some money.
And to me, he's a champ.
He is. He's first class too, and I don't understand why people are booing him and cheering John.
I have always liked him.
Oh, he's from Louisiana.
The first fight I saw him fight was against Snowman, Jeff Munson, in Strikeforce. He was a heavyweight. And I knew Jeff Munson from watching Pride and other fights. I said, man, who's this guy? Because he was just tagging Jeff Munson. Jeff Munson was pretty good back then. Towards the end of his career, he faded down. And then after it was over with, you know, Daniel Cormier, Lafayette, Louisiana, I said, hey, yeah, I'm pull for this guy.
New person to cheer for. And then he ends up being light heavyweight champion of the world.
Ended up winning the Strikeforce heavyweight Grand Prix.
He was a heavyweight, yeah. Do you think he has a hard time cutting down light heavyweight every fight?
He says no.
He says
I think he's about 230.
He's only 5'11", so he's not as tall as a John Jones, but he's thick.
Yeah.
You know, he's real thick.
About my size.
Right. But recently, Dana White is kind of hinted that if Jones is able to fight, he wants Jones and Rumble to fight. But where do you go with this? Because technically, Jones is still the interim champion for the light heavyweight division. So it's weird. It's a weird situation because you're going to have them fight if they fight. You're going to have them fight for the interim belt when the champion is healthy and can fight. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. Like, how does that?
I should have never did that.
Should have never made Jones the interim champion.
No, for beating Owen St. Preux.
Yeah, right.
Somebody that had lost 3 fights in the light heavyweight division.
They couldn't get Rumble to take that fight, could they?
Wasn't even talking about. Rumble was already scheduled to fight Glover Texeira.
Okay.
For I think at 199 and had to pull out some family issues.
Okay.
So they were already scheduled to fight. So that's why they didn't put him in there.
I've kind of noticed this, and the light heavyweight division isn't what it once was when Chuck Liddell and Forrest Griffin and Randy Couture and Rampage and Rashad and all those guys were there. It's really 4 or 5 fighters and then a bunch of up-and-coming guys who people don't know a lot about. So there's 3 money fights, or 2 really, I guess 3 money fights. DC and Rumble and John, and then John and DC. Yeah. So that's how that division is right now. If it was to be any different, you have to have a heavyweight come down and fight by heavyweight, or just got to make a new star. But is DC going to fight Rumble? You think Jones is just too much in the air? Or?
I think DC should get to say who he fights. I think he's earned that.
I think he's earned that too. I think Dana White kind of respects him a little bit in that, but I don't know if it works that way.
And that fight wasn't.
That fight wasn't one-sided either.
No.
Rumble
knocked him all the way across the cage.
He did, and then DC recovered and took him down and weathered the storm.
Yeah.
And just got him in a submission, and it was it.
And that's what I thought Glover was going to do the other night, but didn't work that way.
You think Rumble could have better cardio than he does? Do you think that's what got him?
Oh, it definitely did.
Excuse me.
Anytime you got a man who's 230 pounds just leaning on you, putting all his weight on you and punching you in the face, and you're trying to breathe.
Right.
It just didn't work out. That was the game plan there. He punched me and almost knocked me out. I got to take him down and grind on him. And that's what he did.
All right, so without further ado, before we start with the main event and all the storylines going around it, do you have anything else to say about the undercard?
Yeah, I forgot about a prelim fight.
Okay.
I was thinking it was the first fight on the pay-per-view, but it wasn't. Cody Garbrandt and Mizugaki.
What happened?
Cody Garbrandt knocked him out in about 45 seconds, I believe.
What division is that?
That is 135.
Demetrius, no, okay.
Dominic
Bantamweight.
Motormouth Cruz.
Dominic Motormouth Cruz.
Yeah.
Real quick, where's the Bantamweight division going since we're talking about it?
Cody Garbrandt.
To fight Dominic Cruz?
And that guy is a scary little guy.
Where did TJ Dillashaw and Uriah Faber go?
Uriah Faber is probably on his way out. He's fighting again at 203.
I think he's got one money fight left, and that's TJ Dillashaw.
Yeah.
They weren't on the same team, and they were
Yep.
kind of had some draws. I think that's really his last fight. He has had a great career. He just got to UFC too late, I think.
Yeah.
So, you think that fight will be made, or you think TJ will get another shot at Dominic Cruz before then?
I'd make that fight. I think a lot of people want to see that fight.
I would like to see it too.
And
I think
Cody
it's a pay-per-view
Garbrandt
fight.
is making his way to fight Dominic Cruz. He's doing everything he can.
Who's that?
Cody Garbrandt.
Okay, yeah, you just talked.
He's undefeated.
Well, we will see soon. There's a lot of things to happen in the future with UFC. Hey, coming to New York City, the Garden, the most famous arena in the world in November. So, and that doesn't even have a headline yet. So we'll see what happens with that. Main event: Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. I'm gonna hand it over to you before I get to a couple things. Just say whatever you want to say about it.
I thought it was an exciting fight. I think Conor McGregor knew that he couldn't get too anxious and run in there and punch himself out like he did last time.
Right.
I think he held his emotions in check good.
Right.
And did everything he could. Nate Diaz looked a lot slower this time. Like he gained more weight.
He looked bigger. Yeah.
I watched both fights. I watched the first one, then I watched the second one. Conor McGregor looked a little leaner in this one, and Nate Diaz looked a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of got that down. McGregor's a smart fighter. Can't knock him for that. He's a smart guy. He knows what works and what doesn't.
Right. Especially after he took that one loss.
And I was watching him throw his leg kicks. In the first fight, he tried to throw his leg kicks.
Where did that come from? That was honestly like McGregor won the first round 10-8 decisively. He knocked Nate down a few times, but those leg kicks were what made the difference in the fight. I thought.
Well, the first time they fought, he was kicking his leg, but every time he was kicking his leg, he was getting hit in the mouth with the left and getting slapped with the right.
The stop and slap.
Every time. He'd leg kick him, and Nate Diaz punch him in the mouth and slap him upside the head. So he stopped throwing it. But it was like the roles reversed.
Right.
Conor was quicker this time, so he could get out the way, and you see Nate trying to throw the same thing again, and just missing him every time.
Before we get, I want to take us up to the build up to this fight. Anything else you want to say just about the fight? What grade would you give both performers? It was a hell of a fight, I couldn't take anything away from either one of the guys. It was really one of the best fights I've seen in a long time.
I think Nate Diaz would rather stand up and make you look like a bitch for not knocking him out than to win a fight, and that's what he did. He could have took him down.
You made a perfect fucking point.
Yeah, he could have took him down and done whatever he wanted to. Because Conor McGregor, they say he has a ground game and he's not elite like Diaz, but he has a hell of a jiu-jitsu background.
I agree with you, but Diaz, there was a couple times he tried to take him down, but he couldn't take him down, and it was mostly because McGregor was leaning against the cage.
He was doing that, and he tried to take him down, but what he was doing, he was leaning against him, trying to wear him out, and then he'd pop up and try to hit him.
Right.
He wasn't going all out for the takedown.
Nate was?
Yeah. I'm talking about full-fledged shooting and taking it down.
You want to know what Nate didn't fight that. Now that you speak about it, Nate, I guess, didn't fight the fight like a fighter would. He fought like a movie star would in the action for all the drama and stuff like that. And I can't knock the dude for that. So let's get to the build up to the fight. Bruh, the press conference where they threw the water bottles and shit at each other. I put on my Instagram after that. I said, as childish as that may have seemed, that completely and 100% sold the fight to thousands of people right there.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a title to sell a fight. Two guys with a personal issue who you think can't stand each other, who want to fight, who want to rip each other's heads off. And that's what that was.
Yeah.
Did you watch that live?
Press conference? Yeah.
McGregor showed up late. And Dana wasn't really happy, but McGregor showed up. He's McGregor. He's going to do shit like that. Like you said, as bad as you hate it, that's the kind of position pull he has.
Yeah.
There's rumors that Nick Diaz told his brother, Nick, who is Nate's brother, told Nate, if he shows up, get up and walk out. And he did that, and there was some jawing and talking about, my team will whip your ass, my team will whip your ass. There was a lot of profanity, F-bombs thrown around. Nate threw the first water bottle right there.
Yeah.
And then McGregor jumped up and threw water bottles and freaking Monster energy drinks and stuff like that. Like, it really was they're both probably going to get fined for that, I guess, but that did more to help the fight than it hurt it.
Yeah. The people that weren't going to watch it anyway.
The people that weren't going to watch it. I mean, you were going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was like, after that, and I feel like I'm kind of getting worked up over some stupid shit, you know? They threw water bottles at each other like kids do. But bro, I was like, okay, I'm definitely watching this fight now for sure.
I think walking out and flipping them all off would have done the same justice.
Probably.
But it is what it is, what they did.
They know how to sell a fight. Rumble Johnson kind of had a little problem with that because it took a lot of. Afterwards, he looked like he whispered to Dana. Dana's like, what's in it? He said, sorry, guys.
Glover Texeira look up at Conor McGregor when he grabbed that water out in front of Glover Texeira. He kind of looked up at him like, bitch, I'm fixing to kill you.
Yeah.
And then he stood his chair out and walked off.
Yeah, well, that's just a bigger guy talking to a smaller guy. Like, yeah, he definitely would. But
he was just looking at him, just staring him down.
Real quick, before we get into the fight, I just thought about this, and I want to talk about it real quick before I forget about it. Before the fight, Conor called out some pro wrestlers, namely John Cena.
Yeah. He
had a couple tweets. The biggest person to take offense to it, there was a couple WWE guys who tweeted back to him. Seth Rollins, I think, did. Roman Reigns was one that I remembered. You know, he said, dude, you're as big as my leg. I think that they were kind of just responding back as like, this is playful. Ric Flair, who is maybe the greatest professional wrestler of all time and somebody that holds a ton of respect, like really genuinely got pissed off at that.
Yeah, he did.
He said, Conor, for a guy that models your whole shtick behind me, you know, you don't have respect like Ronda does or Brock or whoever for whatever. You know, or DC. DC's a big WWE fan, you know. And he took it to heart. Personally, I think Conor was working because I think you'll see him on Monday Night Raw.
I think eventually, too.
I think he will. I think he will. I think he was working the crowd. Now, why he decided to call out John Cena, I guess it's because he's the top guy. Cena, even though he's not an MMA fighter, would probably squash the kid like a bug just because of the size difference. But what do you think about that whole ordeal?
I think if you don't know anything about something, there's no need to talk about it.
Okay.
Till you get in there and get on the road like they do, 300 days a year.
So you don't think he was working?
I think he was. But I mean, I think that's why they got fired up about it.
I do. And then afterwards, he kind of sent out a little apologetic half-ass. Not really. He said something smart-ass, and he said, you know, but I do respect the OGs like Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock.
He didn't say Ric Flair.
I thought he did say Ric Flair.
He said Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and The Rock.
Okay, I thought he did say Ric Flair. My bad.
That's why Ric Flair sent him 3 or 4 tweets.
Woo!
Yeah.
The Nature Boy. You listen to his new podcast?
I haven't yet. They got one with Dana White. I want to listen to.
I haven't listened to that one yet, but so far it's pretty good.
You see what Brock Lesnar told Conor McGregor?
Yeah, what did he say to him?
He's gonna take shits bigger than that kid.
Bruh.
So if he wants to come there and say it to my face, tell him to come say it. He said, I came to his ring and kicked ass, and tell him to come to our ring and kick ass if he wants to talk shit.
Bro, Brock, again, that's just Brock being Brock. With that. Little pause for the cause. And Cody clacking some beers together. It's been a long week. Friday. All right, so let's get to the fight. We kind of already touched on about it, man. To me, it was a great fight. We talked about the leg kicks. How would you have scored the fight? Because there was a little bit of controversy. That's the next thing I was going to say. Did the judges get it right?
I think they did.
I think they did too. And, I think for all of Conor McGregor's faults, and he definitely has a lot of lovers, he definitely has some naysayers, is that the dude isn't scared to fight. And I think that he kind of proved a little something to maybe himself, but maybe to a lot of the people that, I can hang with this guy. I'll go out there and I'll fight a 5-round fight. Now, he started gassing, and you saw it in the second round. And man, after that, I was like, it's going to be the same shit. In the third round, Diaz is going to get in there, hit him in the face, take him down, and choke him out. That's what it's going to be. Let's go round by round and score the fight. Round 1.
10-9 McGregor.
10-9. I would say 10-8, but McGregor won that round. Round 2.
Same.
I'd say 10-9. Diaz started to come in with a pressure towards the second round.
Yeah.
Third round.
10-8 Diaz.
I would say that definitely. Third round was Diaz's round. Round 4. I'd give it 10-9 McGregor.
Yeah.
Did you see the leg kick he threw towards his head whenever McGregor knocked Diaz down. Not out, sorry. He knocked him down at the end of the fourth round, and he went to go kick him like that. Thank God that didn't connect. But I said, holy shit, if that would have connected, that would have done some damage to him right there. But round 5, I'd give to Nate.
Yeah.
I guess 10-9.
10-9.
So
it wasn't dominant like the third round.
No,
I think they got it right.
I think they got it right too. So I don't think there was a lot of people complaining about that. I think one judge scored it a draw. I guess you could see the argument. I wouldn't have scored it a draw, personally.
I don't think Nate Diaz did enough that he could have. See, I'm trying to word this right. Conor did everything he could to win. Nate didn't. Nate could have done more with his skill set he has.
Yeah.
And I think the judges knew that and kind of played it out. But he wants to bitch about Conor running.
I was going to bring that up to you. He was jumping in and tagging him, and me and my roommate and my brother and one of my good friends were all watching that fight. And I don't think he has a problem with me saying this. JC, who good friend of mine, he said, he's like, bro, why is he going in there and hitting him and then running away? Come on, man, I don't like that. And I said, well, it doesn't really look good during the fight, but the dude's gassed. It was the fourth round or whatever. He was being a smart fighter, like you said.
It's all about tempo too. He knew he got in that close with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was going to push him because Nate Diaz has amazing cardio. He wanted to dictate the tempo of that fight, and that's what he had to do. That's what he had to do, and he did it.
I agree.
I don't think as much as running is controlling it.
I wouldn't say it was running away that he was scared, but he would jump in and pop him and jog off a little bit. Like you said, I don't think he wanted to get in there and swing and then get knocked out.
And if he's running from you, take your angle and go take him down. Take your angle and cut him off. They teach you all that.
Diaz would kind of look at him and flip him off or whatever when he would do that. But I mean, that's just Diaz. Diaz could have went after him.
So, he knows how to. He's probably one of the best boxers in the UFC.
Yeah.
Just pure boxers,
What's next for either one of these guys? Both of them.
I think McGregor is Eddie Alvarez.
You think he should? I mean, how would you look at it if you were Dana White? What would you tell Conor McGregor? Would you give him the option to fight Eddie, or would you tell him you got to go down and figure belt? He gave him either one of them.
If I was making the call, I'd make him fight Aldo.
Or forfeit the belt.
Yeah. He has a lot of work to do at 145. He says, I already beat these people. I beat him in 13 seconds. I beat Chad Mendez. I knocked him out. Okay. Well, Nate Diaz just choked you out in the second round, and you just beat him.
Yeah.
Fights aren't the same every time you fight them.
No.
And just because you beat somebody one time, and that's
you made a damn good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the same fight. You can't say every time it's going to go just like the last time. I will put everything I own on it that he does not knock out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds again. Not going to happen.
Oh, no.
Never.
You know, he said in his, I want to get to Nate too, but he said in his press conference, and for as good of a point you just made, I think McGregor made a good point too when he said, you're going to, okay, is he really going to strip me of the belt? He's going to strip me of the belt. You're going to bury that division in the fight pass for the prelims. Or free TV. You don't think so?
No.
You don't think so?
But you got Chad Mendez. You got
He's
Ricardo
suspended
Lamas.
for 2 years though. Mendez, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's coming back.
Okay.
I think they appealed it, or they're in the process of appealing it now.
I heard it was some BS. I didn't read it up too
Probably,
much.
Like BJ Penn's deal too. You got Ricardo Lamas. You got Max Holloway, who is a young guy who I think will beat McGregor right now. Won 9 in a row. Kid from Hawaii.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people in that division. A lot of
Jose, Frankie.
Yeah. He's got more fights in that division to take. He beat Max Holloway.
Oh, definitely.
Decision, 3rd round, I believe.
Okay.
That's the only person that's ever took him in 3 rounds besides Nate Diaz.
The length of the fight, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's how, it's hard to say how would you book it because it's not pro wrestling. I would love to see him go back down and defend his belt. I think that division has been put on hold for a long time. I do think there's money in him and Jose Aldo fighting again. I think it's going to be a little bit different though. I think he made a good point about this guy dodged me for a year basically, and then we fought. And, I beat him, knocked him out in 13 seconds. I mean, to me, it's a good point. I wish he would go back down and defend his belt. At the same time, though, I've heard that's a really hard weight for him to make, for him to cut. It's taxing on his body. Naturally, he should probably fight at 155.
But if that's what it is, say it.
If that's what it is, say it.
Don't make up and go and say, oh, I beat all these scrubs and.
Well, that's him. That's him being.
Yeah, but I guess why I don't like him.
He's the heel, bro. I guess some people then he's the face.
Yeah.
But
more people like him than don't like him.
More people like him than don't like him. I agree too. I think it's kind of gotten to that. At the same time, though, Cody, I think that he's done a lot for the sport. I think that he's increased. He said it. He said, "Look, I've made Nate Diaz so much more money than he had before. I've increased the salaries and stuff like that. I don't think the UFC sold at $4 billion just because of Conor McGregor.
No.
But so I guess Dana is telling him basically, you've earned a title fight at 155, even though you've never fought at 155 because of who you are, because of what you've done for the sport.
Yeah.
So, man, anything else you guys want to? Okay, Nate, where does he go from here?
I don't think he fights again.
I don't think he does either. He said as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nate is real. I don't think he's full of shit. I don't think he needs the money anymore. Let's talk about the press conference afterwards with the vape pen thing. What do you know about that?
Nate being Nate.
Nate being Nate. Was that marijuana in the vape pen or some kind of
CBD? Some kind of cannabis oil.
Some kind of cannabis oil. Is he going to get suspended for that, you think?
I doubt it.
I don't think he should. That's stupid. I think it's kind of stupid that they wouldn't let Nick walk out there with him.
I thought it was too.
And, he said that, but do you think we're going to see a trilogy between these guys? I think so. I think it'll be down the road.
I'll tell you what been on my mind lately that really been bothering me, that I don't like about this whole thing. They let him dictate who he fights, when he fights, all that, because he's went from 145 to 170 and.
Well, he was supposed to go to 155.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he beat a top 10 at best lightweight at 170. Nate Diaz is not even in the top 15 welterweights.
No.
Okay? So you beat, and that's after he beat you, choked you out in 2 rounds. You took him to distance and beat him. Rumble Johnson has gone from 170 to 205 and is destroying people.
Rumble fought at welterweight?
Absolutely.
Okay, I did not know this.
Yeah.
How the hell did he ever make the weight?
That's why he had to move up. It was too brutal on him.
Yeah.
Donald Cerrone will fight anywhere from
He'll fight anybody.
145 to 205. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson has fought from 170 to 205. But everybody makes a big deal about Conor McGregor doing it. Everybody makes a big deal. Like, after he won this fight, everybody's talking like he never did lose a fight to Nate Diaz. They forget all that.
Right.
And that drives me insane. He beat a top 15.
He didn't beat Robbie Lawler. He didn't beat
No. Get in there against Wonder Boy. Get in there against Robbie Lawler. Please. Hell, get in there against Patrick Cote. Fight him. You can't do it. If you want to say you did something, do it right. Everybody says, well, Nate's at 170. No, he's not.
He's 155.
Nate fought at 170 because he had 11 days notice and couldn't cut weight.
Yeah.
And then here's also that Nate Conor has said, I will fight you again. It's going to be at 155 though.
Yeah.
I think he's earned that. I think that would be a better fight for them guys anyway. I took it as, a lot of people forget this though. When they made that fight, it was 10 days before whatever UFC 196 or whatever it was. They had to make it at welterweight because Nate couldn't cut the weight to go down to 155. And Conor said, I'll jump up and fight you. Now he did that, and I guess when he lost, when they rated Nate, this is why I respect the guy. Whenever he lost and they made the fight again, he said, I'm going to fight him the same thing, 170, welterweight, do it like we'll do it the same weight. Let's do it. That's why I think they should go back down to 155 if they fight again.
I agree. And that's better for Nate.
Yeah.
But don't act like you beat a monster.
No.
You know what I mean?
I definitely get what you mean. Anything else you want to add about that fight? I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah.
Well, towards the end of every podcast, what I like to do now is get people to something to watch. Because we talk about it so much, I think if you have the option, if you have Fight Pass, whatever you have to do it, watch UFC 202. It was a great card. Every match was a finish besides the main event, which the main event was a great main event, great fight.
Definitely.
If you can't have access to it and you just want to see the main event, the highlights of it, get on Conor McGregor's Instagram. I think he's probably floating around a couple other things. And he has a video of him and Nate trading shots and just like not beating the hell out of each other. It's like kind of like a little music video thing. I think I sent it to you.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Get on there and watch that. But somehow take a look at these fights. They were awesome. This was a great card. And think that's fine to watch, Cody?
Yeah.
Well, I want to end this episode with this. First of all, I want to say, me and Cody are just cutting the record button off and cutting it back on right here because we're going to talk some SummerSlam. We're going to talk some WWE, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, John Cena, AJ Styles, all that other stuff coming up next. I'm going to make it 2 separate podcasts. This one will probably drop Saturday. The next one will probably drop Monday or Tuesday early in the week. But I want to end with this. Have you been following the Chael Sonnen with his daughter, newborn story?
I saw that. Read a little bit about it.
Basically, his wife was pregnant, and the baby was born. A daughter was born 10 weeks premature.
Yeah.
First, she kind of had a little liver problem, and then they come down with listeria or something like that.
Yeah.
And I listened to Chael's podcast today. It was from about a week ago, where it was like just like a little 30-minute podcast. The baby ended up dying. The baby was alive then, and he got on there and he just vented. He's like, look guys, I'm just coming on here to talk to you, just telling you what's up and all that stuff. This is therapy for me, talking to you guys on my podcast. The baby ended up dying, and I think Chael's taking it pretty well. Something I wanna say though is I saw on his Twitter. Chael's a big WWE guy, big fan. And whenever Razor Ramon and Scott Hall got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 30 in 2014, his gimmick was Razor Ramon, the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Hall had been through a lot of ups and downs in his life, drug problems, stuff like that. He got mostly sober, I think, healthier and stuff like that. And he said in his to end his speech, he said, "Bad times don't last, but bad guys do." Chael Sonnen, like I said, big WWE fan, and his nickname was Chael Sonnen, the bad guy. He posted on Twitter a picture of him training, flipping a tire or something like that. And he has a son too, he's pretty young.
Yeah.
Son running behind him. He said, "Bad times don't last, but bad guys do." Man, I couldn't imagine going through something like that, but I think he's handling it well.
I couldn't either. My kid's my world. I don't know. That's hard to even think.
Hard to think. I don't have kids, but
Good Lord.
hard to think. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Come back here, Cody Butler. Thank you, guys.